1,000 listeners, Vivek Ramaswamy forgot to mute himself while going to the restroom. Well, how does that happen though, you know? Even Biden's never done this, and he goes 30 times a day. You know what I'm saying?
That's an old man pee a lot joke.
Yeah, so it's...
Come on. I think the most extraordinary thing about this is that it was a conversation with Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, and Alex Jones, among others. That's quite the crowd.
And some of those who I'm not familiar with, I'm told, are highly objectionable humans. I don't get that gathering at all.
Things are getting weird, and they're getting weird fast.
So Vivek said, I gotta go, and went to the restroom. Then they all could hear him through their headphones, and Alex Jones said, somebody's got their phone on in the bathroom.
Frogs have both sets of genitals.
That's your phone, Vivek. I'm not able to mute you, said the host. After some laughs, Ramaswamy apologized for returning. I hope you feel better, said the world's richest man. I feel great, said Ramaswamy.
All right. Oh,
there you go. Of course, that prompted conspiracy theories all across the internet. Vivek is literally draining the swamp, said one. There you go. I mentioned it. All right, I'm amused by that. I mentioned at the very beginning of the show today, I started my coffee maker and didn't put my coffee mug underneath it. And was just talking a little bit about the stuff that we do on autopilot, and we get right 99% of the time, and then every once in a while something like that. Like, it's just like I don't think about putting the coffee mug under there. It's just a reaction. But today, for whatever reason, I didn't. And then there was hot coffee. It's your job to corral the coffee. I just make it. I was washing my face with my AirPod in, as I usually do, and it fell into the sink and the water, and now it's run. All those things happen, and we got this text. Don't worry, Jack. Mercury is about to go into retrograde tomorrow. So there's, I thought, that is a astrological sign thing? Mercury goes into retrograde? I think so, yeah. And some people get depressed or horny or something. I don't know what it does to them.
Well, it's one or the other. I've rarely been both.
Right. I know which one I'd choose. I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to pay it off here. At what age do people start drinking in moderation? Kind of an interesting thought. As a guy who calls himself an alcoholic, as I got older, I did have to start hanging out with younger people, because at a certain age, and I could have told you pretty accurately what age that is, because at a certain age, I had to start hanging out with younger people, because people who wanted to do it the way I was doing it stopped. They, if you would want to call it this, grew up. Most people start drinking in moderation late 20s, around 28, 29. That's when you stop, drinking like a grown-up, I guess. Start drinking like a grown-up. Start going out and getting hammered on a Tuesday night. Sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds right. God, I heard the dumbest thing. Time in the history tested, I guess. I think it was on NPR. But it was the holiday parties. First of all, my recommendation would be don't go. If you do go, don't drink. The number of times all right, whatever. Every year with the people ruining their lives drinking at a holiday party, even though it doesn't really ever happen or hardly ever happens.
As the kids say, you can F all the way off. NPR.
Yeah.
What a bunch of panty wastes.
I know. That whole thing caught on like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. Half of us were all ruining our lives drinking too much at the Christmas party. So something had to be done about it. As opposed to,
those who were killed ruin their lives.
As opposed to it, practically never happens. And even if it does happen, most of the time it's just more or less okay. It's just a
combination of safetyism in the culture and liability terror in the legal system.
Absolutely right.
Lawyers have ruined America. Lawyers and educators have ruined America. Lawyers and educators and politicians have ruined America.
I butted up against this. I'm doing some shows next week by myself with Tim Sandefur, and this is one thing I want to talk to him about as a lawyer, in which we've discussed a lot. How do we get out of this whole, we can't do anything because people are always worried about getting sued? To the point of, over the weekend, my son, who plays football, he's 12, he'll be 12 here in a couple of days, He really wants to work out in the gym. Well, I called the gym, wanted to get a membership. Oh, no. You can't work out in the gym area unless you're 16 years old. For liability reasons.
Mm-hmm.
That's, what? Why? Why can't we just do it at our own risk? Is that the world we all want to live in?
No, there's no such thing anymore. And no, it's not.
God dang it. If you miss a segment of the show, get the podcast. You should subscribe to Armstrong and Getty On Demand. I'm so drunk.
Armstrong and Getty.
Start your day with Armstrong and Getty. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10. An iHeart radio station. Talk 650 KFE. Rancho Cordova, Sacramento. This is CBS News on the Hour. Presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Allison Keyes. Israel's prime minister says its war with Hamas must be fought until victory despite the pressure and cost. This as anger and sadness mount after Israeli troops killed 3 Israeli hostages by mistake. CBS's Ramy Inocencio.
Soldiers, in the officials' words, felt threatened, opened fire, and killed 2 of the men. The 3rd hostage ran into a building crying for help in Hebrew, but soldiers opened fire again and killed him. Militants in the past in Gaza have tried to lure Israel's troops into traps by calling out for help in Hebrew.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu through a translator.
They were so close to being saved and rescued. And it was exactly then that the disaster had happened. It broke my heart.
This as official Vatican media and the Latin Patriarchate report that an Israeli sniper shot and killed 2 Christian women sheltering inside a church in Gaza. 7 other people were wounded. CBS News has reached out to the IDF for a response. A White House request for aid for Israel and Ukraine is being held up by Republican lawmakers who want to tighten rules at the nation's border. But CBS's Willie James Inman says talks are ongoing.
The spokesman for the White House says that conversations surrounding that deal on immigration continue to move in the right direction. As CBS News has learned that a deal on immigration could be reached as soon as this Sunday, and with it, sweeping changes to the nation's immigration system.
Those living along the eastern seaboard better prepare for some wet weather, and it won't be over soon. Meteorologist Rich Otto.
Sunday, that area of low pressure is going to cross Florida and begin to work its way northward along the east coast. And with that is going to come a broad swath of rain, some of it heavy, impacting portions of the mid-Atlantic into the northeast eventually as we get into Sunday night.
If you buy live Christmas trees, you might want to take a good look at it before you bring it home. CBS's Linda Kenyon explains why.
Not exactly a partridge in a pear tree, but quite the find for Bobby Hayes. He spotted a baby owl in the Christmas tree as he was cleaning carpets at the home of a family in Lexington, Kentucky.
The owl was literally sitting on a lower limb here, crawled up into the tree further, and as it was in the tree further, it took me several minutes to even find it.
Family members say they absolutely love the entire experience of getting a live Christmas tree every year, but from now on, they'll be doing a much closer inspection. Linda Kenyon, CBS News.
The family had the tree for 4 days. Even their dogs didn't see it. It was released safely, so no harm to the fowl. This is CBS News.
You don't need a job platform, you need a hiring partner. Indeed lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews, all from one place. Start at Indeed.com/credits.
The holidays are the happiest time of the year. That is unless you or your loved ones are miserable because of colds, sinus infections, or allergies. This holiday season, give the gift of better breathing with Navage. What makes Navage so effective? Well, unlike cold and allergy drugs that might take a long time to help, if they're effective at all, Navage provides fast relief from sinus congestion in 30 seconds flat. Navage doesn't just relieve symptoms, it attacks the cause by sucking out the germs, allergens, and viruses trapped in your nose that are making you feel miserable. Best of all, Navage does it naturally, without drugs. Wash away your cold and congestion problems this holiday season. Add Navage to your gift list so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all year long. Ask for Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or find us online at Navage.com. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
It happened 250 years ago today, and people are looking back at the Boston Tea Party.
University of New Hampshire professor Elijah Gould has been studying the events of December 16, 1773 for decades and has written several books about the American Revolution.
I think for Americans, it doesn't hurt us to remember that our revolution was a messy event. And it's something that people had mixed feelings about, even as they moved first toward open rebellion and eventually declaring independence.
Professor Gould says a large number of colonists, even George Washington, were not happy with the Tea Party.
People were very uncomfortable with it. Actually, Samuel Adams, who is widely assumed to have been one of the Tea Party's organizers, never admitted involvement.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
That whole women and children first thing isn't real. Experts say these days it's pretty much every man for himself. Allison Keys, CBS News.
The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed are solely those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff, management, and parent company of KSDE.
Getting close to retirement or already there? This show is all about you.
Politics are getting out of control.
From finance to family and maintaining your lifestyle.
I love to go on little mini trips. Makes me feel happy and relaxed.
This is Guarding Your Nest Egg with Mike Lester of Talon Wealth, along with Kristen Charles. Dig deeper at guardingyournestegg.com and turn up your radio now.
The most wonderful time of year.
Christmas all over again. Seems like it was just yesterday last year. Hope you're having a good one. Maybe this weekend you're out running errands to get some last-minute shopping done or running to and fro families. That's always hectic, but we are so thankful you've decided to take us along for at least part of the ride. And remember, you can always catch up if you missed something about a topic you're interested in by subscribing to our podcast, Guarding Your Nest Egg, on your favorite platform. And if you have questions about anything Mike talks about today, maybe it's a topic he does not get to, regarding your 401k or rollovers, market, what's going on, changes you might be thinking about with allocations, reach out to a Talon Wealth team member off the air. We'll get some information from you and set up a time to have a one-on-one conversation. Even put together a free, comprehensive financial plan, a written plan for your retirement. 916-545-6000. 916-545-6000. Well, Mike, we've still got time, but have you taken care of everything on your list?
I'm very, very close. So my daughter, my oldest daughter, Katie, was interested in some specific things, and apparently they're shipping. It's supposed to be here at a certain time, and it seems to get delayed. So I'm a little concerned about those. I think most of it's wrapped up, but I'll tell you, and obviously love all my children equally, but Finn is the youngest, so he's the most excited about Christmas, right?
I mean, he's 7, of course.
So we spend a lot of time talking about Christmas. We do Elf on the Shelf.
What's the name of the elf that lives in the Lester house?
Jingle is his name.
Jingle. It depends on the house.
Depends on the house, yeah. So his name is Jingle, and that's always interesting in the morning. You know, did we move Jingle to a new place, or did we forget?
What do you mean, did we move? Jingle moved on his own.
Well, Well, sorry, I don't know listening yet for all of the, but just in case he doesn't, I get the question, where is Jingle?
Yeah.
And that's a panic, right, at like 6:30 a.m. every morning. Where is Jingle? So Finn, though, has a very, very interesting request for Christmas. He's decided he wants to be a runner, which to me is awesome, but also very odd.
He runs nonstop.
He runs nonstop, but he literally wants to be like a runner.
He told me that, yeah.
Yeah, and so on his list of things he wants for Christmas is like legit running shoes, not just like sneakers that a kid would have, but the type of running shoes that an adult would have, a legit running shorts, a running outfit. I want to get him that stuff, and then get him like a headband, which nobody does anymore, just to make him look, more cute, running back and forth. We have a long driveway, and he wants to run back and forth as many times. So I think that's a very interesting request. Then you could have asked for like a skateboard. He wants a running outfit. So
I love it.
But I'm going to get him a headband, just
Yeah,
so you
Richard
know.
Simmons him out, please.
No, that's a different outfit.
Those little tiny shorts, let's go.
Tiny shorts and a tank top. I'm not getting him that, but
Well, you know,
I will get him a headband just for kicks.
one of our mutual friends, Steven, he is an avid runner, and he made me aware of something because he does marathons and Ironman competitions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nipple chafing is a very real thing when you're a runner, so you might
What happens? You need tape.
yeah, get in some of that stocking.
It's not just running. It's an athletic thing. It's also a diving thing. It's the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
So,
All right, just trying to give Finn something to be weirded out about, but it wouldn't work. He's committed. I know the deal with that kid. Once he's in, and you could even say he's running down a dream.
Sorry.
Okay, all kidding aside, we'd love for you to get to know us more by visiting guardingyournestegg.com and taking advantage of a free comprehensive financial plan valued at $1,500. You can set it up all online, guardingyournestegg.com. Speaking of people reaching out, recently a call came in from a couple that has no debt, owns their own business, and collects a good amount of income from some real estate they manage, not that there's a bad amount of income, I guess, and has a decent amount of money with one of the big brokerage houses, the household name we don't recognize. But the husband is frustrated because the only time he hears from these people is when the statements come in the mail or when they reach out once a year to say happy birthday. You know, when you're dating, they say that's how you grew up, that's what you look for in a spouse. We don't really have that example when it comes to an advisor, so what should our listeners expect their relationship to be with their advisor? Is it just about the birthday cards and the statements? I mean, there's got to be more to it.
I mean, let's just walk real quick a history of how these relationships typically work and so all over time. So if you go back to the 80s, if you remember, some people had stockbrokers, right? And that was kind of the big thing. And actually, we were a big deal if you actually had a stockbroker. You know, my stockbroker this, my stockbroker that. And obviously, there have been movies made about this, but you call your stockbroker and they place trades and they get commissions and you know, hopefully they're making you a bunch of money. And the industry started to evolve in the 90s when mutual funds came about. And then stockbrokers, instead of sort of selling individual stocks, this idea of diversification came about. And it's like, well, you can buy one share of a mutual fund, and then you're going to get lots of diversification one share. And then what the industry did to protect the brokers that were selling stocks is they said, well, if you sell mutual funds, you'll get paid to sell the mutual fund. And that was in the form of, back in a little bit, but it turned into, it was still commission, but it was commission to sell a product as opposed to an individual stock. And then, again, things just continued to evolve. Again, obviously that continued to evolve, but it evolved into, well, why buy a mutual fund? They're expensive, right? Your expenses could be 1% or more. What if, and this is where a phenomenal company and phenomenally successful sort of came in, they were familiar with Vanguard, right? So why are people buying mutual funds? They're paying, you know, on average 1% to own a mutual fund, but an index, something like the S&P or the Dow or the NASDAQ, on average outperforms a mutual fund. So why not just give people the opportunity to own an index, and then let's keep the expense to own the index really, really low? Again, it's not that simple. That's kind of the idea or the genesis of a company like Vanguard, which is, well, let's give people stock market exposure, let's give them diversification, let's keep it inexpensive, and let's go compete with the mutual fund companies. And so that, you know, back when all that happened, we didn't have smartphones. Chris, and we didn't have a lot of things. So now we've got smartphones, now computers, now we've got trading. The New York Stock Exchange, I've seen it evolve for the past 20 years. We used to go 20, 15 plus years ago, and there were traders everywhere like this. Now there's not. Now it's all computers. Now so things are computer-based. And so it's evolved into technology. You don't necessarily have to just settle for a hang in their approach on a mutual fund, or or hang in their approach on an exchange traded fund. And so now, first of all, and where we're at is certainly as a private wealth management firm, who do we compete with? Well, certainly we compete with all of the other financial institutions or investment advisors out there.